Hey guys, it's Nadine and I'm back to do another planner video with y'all. This time it's going to be, instead of a plan with me in November, I'm going to go ahead and do a walkthrough of my November because I already set it up, and like I said, my setup is going to be basically the same because I found Planner Piece with the setup that I used in October. Also, I want to take this opportunity to do a really quick Q&A of some of the questions that I got from my last planner video. And if you hear a little tapping on the ground, that's Stitch, and he's walking on the wood floors behind me. So let's get started. Now, I have it in my Foxy Fix, and if you guys have not seen this video, I will link for that up here. Go ahead and click the eye and you can check it out if you haven't already watched it. I am loving it. However, it is gotten to be a little bit bulky, so I do think I'm going to be making couple of changes as far as the way I'm storing my bullet journal next month, and I will show you guys what I do with that if I decide to change it up. So in the month of November, I did go ahead and I actually used some more stamps to decorate my November title page. Now, I don't like it to be too much this month because I just feel like simple is better for me personally. So I just have a little cornucopia right here and then some leaves. And I stuck with the theme of brown since everything kind of turns brown in my hood in November. And I just have one title page this time. Then I have a month on 2 pages, and I am using, which, you know, I'm really bad about using my little, what are these things called? Page markers? I'm bad about using it, but I'm going to make an extra effort to take off the little tabs that I was using earlier and then go ahead and use the page markers instead. And as you can see, same layout, 6x6 boxes that I used with my little acetate or transparency template, and that I talked about in my October Plan With Me video, which I will link for up there. I'm using the page flags again. My bills are here, nothing fancy, everything is simple, which I like. At a glance I can see everything that's happening. I also have my social media calendar here, then my work flow here, ideas page here, which I haven't filled out just yet because I put them on sticky notes, but I need to transfer them, which is so stupid on my part because honestly I'm trying to get away from all that sticky notes all over creation kind of bit, you know. Then I have my moon and mood tracker here. Now, when I did the video of my moon and mood tracker, which I will link up here in the card, I completely forgot to put up the websites that I got this information from, as far as like the moon phases and this little thing here on my sidebar. So I did go back and I did re-upload the links in the description box. So if you were looking for it, it is there now. And I completely apologize. It just slipped my mind because, you know, I suffer from CRS. And if you don't know what that means, look over here. And if you're new to following me, you will find that I have a lot of Nadine-isms or Nay-isms, which is just words that I make up and I use in short for other things. So yeah, there's that. And then I have this here, and I have been loving it. This is what I think I've been doing the moon and mood tracker since either February or March, and I really love it. And as you can see here, I had a flare-up for a couple of days. I actually had it longer than that, but I don't think I was really paying attention, and I kept thinking maybe I'm just coming down with a cold. So I was overlooking the obvious symptoms, but in the reality of it is I was actually having a flare. Here's the funny thing, even though I'm not feeling my greatest, if you watch me on Snapchat, you will never know I'm not feeling my greatest because I'm always kind of upbeat, and I always try to be productive unless my medical issues just kick me on my butt and I cannot do a damn thing. But you know, if I can still move around, you can best be sure I'm gonna try to make the most of my days. So that's what happened, and that's why I have a flare, and then I tried to be productive, which was awesome. And then I'm, you know, productive and happy. So there's that. Now let me share with you guys this part. I'm most excited about this. If you can't already tell. I have a tracker here. And the thing about this tracker is that, okay, so let me reverse. I made the Hex Trackers last month, and I love that, right? Because it's visually appealing to me. But for November, I was like, you know what? Hexes don't really go with November, Nadine. Let's do something a little bit different. So what I did was I took a Studio L2E stamp set. Let me show you guys which one. This is the one. It's called Seasonal Plans, and it's the fall and winter set. And this is an old set, okay? Like, if you guys have been a follower of hers for a while, you know that this came out a couple years ago. But like I said, I have all her stamps, so you know. But I went ahead and used the little pumpkins. Oh my god, is that not the cutest? Ideally, I should have used the pumpkins last month and then used the chestnuts this month, but I didn't think too far in advance about it. But for next month, you can best be sure that I'm either going to be using one of these things right here, because it's just awesome. And the thing about these little icons that she has in this set right here is that it fits perfectly in the dot squares. So if you have a Hobonichi or you have a Leuchtturm 1917, and I am butchering the hell out of that word, you might want to get yourself one of these sets, because her little icons, they fit nicely in here. And as you can see, I am tracking some things. This month I'm tracking 7 things, and that seems a little bit much, but I'm telling you, there's a reason why I'm tracking it. As you can see, I'm kind of doing poorly on these 2 areas, but the month just started, so don't worry about that. So I'm tracking 6 different things, and I just want to see if my behavior changes by doing something every single day for the next 30 something days in November. Then I have my November goals. Truth be told, I have yet to fill this part out yet, because it's still a few days into November, and I still have time to figure out what I want my goals to be. So not to worry, people. And then I have, oh, this part I messed up. This is the part I messed up. You see, this is a learning thing for me. Because November started on a Wednesday, I forgot that I didn't actually need this part, because I already had the week's goals over here in the ending of October. You see that? So this kind of was unnecessary, but that's okay. And then I have my day per page, and it stays the same. Top things that I need to have done, my to-do list on the right, my appointments on the left. And then if I have something that I want to remind myself, a quote, something that comes to me that is my own little message, I write it over here. So yeah, this is how my November has turned out. And you know what, people? I stinking love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving the simplicity of it. But yet I have everything in one spot exactly the way I like it. Hallelujah! And let me share with you the funniest thing. So in November, and when I did my November layout, basically I used, crazy enough, all Studio L2E stamps. You know, for a while I wasn't stamping in my planners, but then now when I'm doing my bullet journaling in this bullet journal planner, I have started to stamp again like a mad woman. And so let me share with you guys the stamps I use. So for my little decorations, I use this one by Recollection, and like I said, this one was a last season kind of stamp. And it just has, like, here's a cornucopia, this is the leaf, here's another leaf. These are like little holly berries. I'm gonna use that next month. And then this is a pumpkin, which is so cute, right? So I use that, and again I use the seasonal plans, fall and winter, for my tracker or my track it area. Here is my Saturday, Sunday, 2 days on a page, because weekends don't have as much things going on. I have this little date night stamp here, which is another one of her stamps, and this called Highlighted Banner Sentiments. Now there's a banner that actually goes with this, and this is supposed to go inside the banner, but because I didn't use the banner, I just went rogue and used it by itself. Okay, then for the days of the week, I went ahead and used this one, which is called Scripted Days. And it's just a tiny set with 7 days of the week here. And I love the font on this, so I kept it uniform throughout, and I used it on all of the days every single day. For the dates, I used this set, which is called Basic Dates. for the month of November. And my title page, let me show you. I use this, and this one is called Scripted Months. And here's the November right there. For this page with my social media ideas, basically it's just YouTube ideas, honestly. This right here, I used a big outline. See that? And I apologize for the glare with the lights, but it's kind of overcast today, which is a little bit weird. And that's why I have to use these lights. Anyhow, back to what I was talking about. Big outlines, and I used ideas. I stamped out each word in each letter individually, and then I went and I used my Tombow dual brush marker. Wait a second, what is it? Tombow dual tip brush marker pens. I will link for that below. This you guys can find. It's a freebie on my blog, but I will link for that below. And like I said, I designed it. All you do is fill in the moon circles, the moon phases, and then the day and the date. Which, you know what? I should actually probably go back and maybe redesign this for you guys and put the little circles, put the days, and do it again. Yeah, let me work on that. As far as this right here where it says goals, I use this one and it says goals and habits pretty much. I actually need to go back and do tracker in this letters again, because as you can tell, I forgot to do that, but that's okay because, you know, nobody died because that's not filled out. I mean, basically that is what I used in the month of November. Pretty much it's Plan With Me November and Studio L2E. Yeah, seriously. Okay, now let's move on to some of the questions I got with my last video, my Plan With Me October. So a lot of people ask me, what is this thing that I'm using on my stamps? This is called a stamp chamois. I will link it below. Basically, it's a chamois that people use on their cars, but the people in the scrapbook community, particularly Lawn Fawn is who makes it, they got that idea from a regular car chamois. And basically, you just keep it wet all the time, and you can use this to wipe off your stamps, which has been a godsend for me because now I'm actually making sure that I wipe off my stamps, because before I didn't used to always wipe it off after I was done stamping. So look at how dirty it is. I have two of them in here. One is cleaner than the other because I always grab for this one, which is always on the top. The other question I got was, how do I store it? Okay, so you have to store this thing and it has to stay moist all the time. But if it ever should dry out, all you do is run it underwater again and it comes back to life just like magic. When it gets extremely dirty like this, I just throw this in the washing machine and it gets fairly clean. Like this one, it's not completely clean, but it's semi-clean. And it, you know, it's good. But as you can tell, I use this thing, yeah, I use this thing a lot. And this is what that was. That was one of my questions. And the other question was, how do I store my stamp chamois? Well, this right here is a jar that actually holds nori flakes or seaweed flakes, or as we call it in Hawaii, furikake. This is a furikake jar. I peeled off the front label so I can't show you it. Do I have another one? Hold on, let me see if I have another one in my pantry and I can show you what it actually is supposed to look like. Okay, I do have another jar, because why? Because we always have these things on hand in our pantry because we're Asian and we like it a lot. This is what it looks like, and it has different varieties. Not that you guys should care about the varieties, but they have different varieties. We put this on our rice because we like it. And basically it has a metal lid on it. What I do is I just take like a butter knife, slip it underneath here, pop this baby off, run this in the dishwasher, then I peel off this label. I use Gooby Gone to take off all the sticky stuff, which, you know what, I didn't do it on the back here, but that's okay. And then it has a cover, which is why I like it, and it's stinking perfect. It's not too big, not too small, it's just right. So this is what I use to store my stamp chamois in, and I will link for this, as crazy as it sounds, in the description box below for those of you who don't have an Asian market and cannot find this. I will link it below so you guys can find it. So if in case you want to just dump it all out and just use the thing, yeah. But I mean, if you don't want to use a glass jar, listen, any jar that has a pretty snug fitting lid will do, or a little Tupperware. So it doesn't have to be this, but I had this and we had eaten all of it and I was like, let me use it, and that's what happened. So that's one of the questions that I got. The other questions that I got was, let me think. All right, so other questions that I got was regarding my bullet journal in my ARC planner. I'm not using this any longer because I'm all up in this one right here. But people had asked me, where did I get my paper from? Well, I designed my own paper. I did. When I have free time, I like to piddle around on my computer and design different things. And I have tons of stuff in the pipeline, people, but I haven't had a chance to complete my design so that they're professional looking to be able to give them to you guys. But I did this one I did. So I designed my dot grid, and so I ran it double-sided on 20-pound paper, and then I cut it down and I just punched holes, and I will show you guys what I used to do that. Now this paper, I will share it with you guys. I didn't realize that you guys might be interested in it because it's just very, you know, simple. But I will be glad to share this with you guys. I will link for this PDF down below. All you have to do is download it to your computer, print it two-sided, double-sided on a piece of paper, and you are going to be good to go. Cut it down. You don't have to, you just cut it straight down the middle, straight down the middle. Because you know what? Because I'm not trying to be fancy and I'm lazy AF, and so I try to keep things simple. So I'm not trying to have you cut the sides, cut the tops, cut the bottoms. No. Down the middle and all's good. Then you just punch holes, stick it in your thing, in your ARC system, in your disc bound, and you're golden. Alright, then the other question I got was, what kind of paper did I use when I was using my disc bound system? Well, let me tell you. I got this from Office Depot. But you can get it at any office store. You can get it online too. And it's just regular paper. However, the key to using a disc bound system is in fact the paper. So this is a 20-pound paper, which is 75 GSMs. Regular size 8.5 by 11. Like I said, this thing, I just ran my free printable back and front through my regular printer at home. No fancy schmancy, nothing. And then cut it down myself and punched holes, and I'm solid. Now, the reason why you want to use the 20-pound paper is because, and this is muy importante, people. When you take your paper in and out of your disc bound, the constant wear and tear of doing this act right here, if you have flimsy paper, this part, it won't last. And it'll drive you crazy, and it'll start to wear, and it'll even tear. So the heavier the paper you use, the better off it is. Cardstock is going to be way too thick, and it's going to make your disc bound system thicker over time. So I don't suggest cardstock. I do suggest 20-pound paper, 75 GSMs. That's what I suggest. Okay, another question was, what did you use to punch holes for your disc bound? Well, I have a bunch of different punch things for this thing. I have the arc punch. I have the, what is it called? Love of something. I don't know. One of those. Oh God, I cannot, for some reason, you see, CRS. Oh, I cannot remember. Anyways, I have another punch. I have like several different punches, but my all-time favorite one is this one right here. Now granted, you cannot punch a lot of papers in this thing, but I still love it. I don't know why. Maybe it's the blue, who knows. All I do is when I punch the holes, my paper, I line my paper up with this edge right here. You see this edge right here? The bottom edge, yep, right there. I line up all of my paper with this bottom edge. So when you're holding your thing like this, it's the bottom edge, the edge that's going to be closest to you right there. not the line, but the actual edge right there. See that? That little lip right there, that's where you want your paper to line up with. And then I put it down and I punch. Now this thing, it says maximum of 3 sheets, and I've kind of done 4, 5 sometimes. Just, you know, you need a little bit of more to it. Just make sure you have a solid platform and you just give it your all, people. Give it your all. So that's the punch I use. Another thing you can do is you can take my PDF to an office store and have them print it out for you, double-sided. You can have them cut it down for you if you would like to spend the money to do that. That's probably the easiest way to do it with my freebie. No big deal. Okay, so another question I got regarding my disc-bound planner was, what did I use to cut my paper down? So whenever I'm cutting a bunch of paper, this is what I use. This is a guillotine cutter. What that means is, see that? It has a little thing like when they used to chop people's heads off. Yeah, same concept. An arm that goes up and down, and it has a guard here. You put your fingers on it to hold the paper down so the paper does not move. And you can go to town. Now this is a Stampin' Up! One. I don't know if they make this one anymore, to be honest, but I have found one that is similar, does the same thing. It's by Tonic, if I'm not mistaken, and I will link for that in the description box below for those of you who've been looking for a guillotine trimmer. This thing is good, again, like I said, for cutting down stacks of paper. If you have just a small amount, then you can just use a regular paper trimmer. A Fiskars one, you know, the one with the thing that you go shook, shook, shook. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, one of those. I have a bunch of those around here, but I'm actually too lazy to go stand up and get them for you guys because I don't use that. But for this anyway. But this is what I use to cut down my disc-bound planner papers that I use to do my planner. Okay, and off the top of my head, another question I got, and probably the final question that I'm going to answer in this video because it's getting kind of long, is what do I use to design my freebies? I use InDesign. It's something that I've had to learn on my own how to use, but that's what I use to make my freebie printables that I share with you guys. So there's that, and that's kind of what I use to do my paper for my bullet journal. I had more questions, but I will be back to do another video talking about or answering those questions coming up. I wanted to tell you guys something else too while we're here. I am going to be changing up my videos a little bit because while I love planners, that is not the only thing that there is about me. And so if you watch my Snapchat, you know that she loves many different things. So in November and December, I'm going to do some testing. I'm actually going to be sharing a few other things that I love with you guys as well. And I want to see how it does. And if I get good reception and people like the content that I put up, I will be sure to maybe change the direction of my channel a little bit and go in that direction. Because what I want to do is I want to share all the things I love and not just planners. So that's what I have coming up. And I cannot wait to share some of the content that I've filmed and I'm going to be putting up for you guys in the next several weeks. So I hope you guys stick around and I hope you guys enjoy it. I am so very grateful that you guys watch my videos and you guys have been longtime subscribers. Many of you have been following me for eons. A lot of you guys have been asking me to come back with my Talking Story series. I don't know that I'm going to do that on YouTube. However, I do talk story a lot on Snapchat almost every day, and I have great things that I share on Snapchat on the regular. And I link for those things in there as well. So if you guys like seeing me face to face and talking story with you guys, by all means, join me on Snapchat. You guys will have fun. I have gotten nothing but great feedback about people loving my Snapchat. So I look forward to seeing some of you on there. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really, really appreciate you guys, like more than you will ever know. And if you guys like the content I'm putting up, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, because that's how I know that what I'm putting out you guys actually like. And I don't want to put up stuff that nobody likes, because that's just a bummer, you know. Anyhow, do that for me, please. I would greatly appreciate it to see whether or not you guys like it. And if you guys are not already a subscriber, please do subscribe to my channel And also make sure you turn on your notifications so that whenever I put up a new video, you will be the first to know that a new video has gone up. And I will be back to talk story with you guys later. TTFN, ta-ta for now.